The other end of Bermuda, we have Fox weather storm specialist Mike Seidel joining us live from Southampton Parish, Bermuda. Bermuda, again, finding itself in the path and potential path of another hurricane, Mike. But this morning, it's back to preparing for what could be some impact by the time we get into tomorrow.
Yes, and the good thing about this, it's going to continue to weaken. In fact, it's weakening, and it has been since yesterday, once it went through the mountains of Jamaica, faster than forecast. So that's a good sign. It's weaker now than it's forecast to be this afternoon. So we'll get the adjustments to the new track and, of course, the new intensity forecast, which is very tough. You know, the Hurricane Center and NHC, those guys and gals, they've made improvements in the track, big improvements over the years, but the intensity forecast is still, well, nowhere near perfect, but we got a good one this time. They forecasted a big one, and it was a Cat 5 at landfall. Now we're expecting it to blow by in that direction, off the coast here. We're on almost the far eastern, western side of Bermuda. So we came out here to catch the wind and some wave action, and it's going to be tomorrow night when it blows by. So it goes by us, and I calculated the speed at which it moves between 8 p.m. tomorrow night and 2 a.m. Eastern on Friday morning, and that's 45.5 miles an hour. So it's going to be racing like it's late for a date. I mean, just moving on through. So whatever we get, it's going to be a quick hitter, wind and rain. As far as preps right now, nothing noticeable. Notice the topography here with the cliffs all over Bermuda. So surge is not an issue, and it hasn't been so far this year. Now, there will have some big waves. We've got the reefs around Bermuda, which keep most of the bigger waves away from the coast, and there will be some rain. Now, they had earlier in the season in August, Aaron. We remember Aaron. I was at the Outer Banks for 5 days. Huge waves, 16-footers. That moved between Bermuda and North Carolina, so they had a tropical storm warning, and they had some wind and rain, but no major impacts. The other one, Umberto, steered Imelda, and then Imelda came up through here back on the first couple of days of October, and with that, the winds gusted out on the far western point at the museum to 99 miles an hour, and they had a sustained wind just over hurricane force in the mid to upper 70s. So there was some wind there. Airport winds gusted about 55 to 60 miles an hour. There were several hundred power outages and tree damage, as you would expect with winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. And I can't imagine it being any worse than that tomorrow night. Once again, this is going to be flying by here. We'll be here on Fox Weather to show you what's going to happen. And again, tomorrow night, 6 to midnight and then 2 to 3 in the morning. And we've got a golf tournament here, the couples golf tournament. They're all asking if they can tee off on Friday. Tee time, Marissa and Stephen, is at 8:30 a.m. And they have the option to move it back to 11:30. It's a shotgun start, and they're going to be fine. The wind, the pressure gradient is rapidly going to exit this area tomorrow night, and it will be back to some decent fall weather here on the island. Temperature right now is 78. Heat index is about 80. It's kind of muggy, but we have a decent southwest wind. Not so much here in this little cove, but the airport's been gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. So that's how it stands. Watching and waiting. Today, no issues. It's all about later tomorrow night, and the early hours of Friday morning here in Bermuda with Melissa.
It looks beautiful there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the color of the water, it just looks so peaceful. But yeah, I think it is wild to think, though, that pretty much every system we've had that formed, especially all these hurricanes that we've had this season, have taken the turn in Bermuda's direction. So they've had a lot of practice in terms of getting everything they need in order, right? A lot of, what is that called? Like a dry run. Yeah. Got a lot of dry runs, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And okay, well, we appreciate
and
the check-in. Yeah.
By the way, if you're interested, you can walk all the way out there at high tide and all the way out. Well, you can't even see way out there, 6.5 feet deep. At low tide, it's even lower. I've seen pictures of people that are like a football field out there, and it's only up just above their waist. So what an ideal place to be with the kind of aquamarine waters. Water temperature now in the upper 70s, so it's come down a little bit, but being from the mid-Atlantic northeast area, 77, 78 degrees, I can deal with that.
Even,
I don't know about you,
even
Marissa,
during
but
high tide.
I was gonna,
That's significant.
I thought it's high tide, Mike. You can walk out that far.
That far.
No, at high tide, if you go all the way out, it's up to about 6 feet.
Wow.
So, but at low tide, it's going to be about 3 to 3.5 feet. They have about a 3-foot range here at this latitude. So yeah, it's deceiving, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
but I could walk pretty far out there and it wouldn't get over my neck.
Yeah, that's pretty
just
awesome.
Just a little topography, bathymetry discussion here on Fox Weather, because we're all about bathymetry when we talk about hurricanes and tropical storms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, at 6 feet, though, I'd be covered. I'd still do it, but I'd be covered. All right, Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel in Southampton Parish, awaiting the arrival of Melissa in some way. Thank you, Mike, for that.
Going to be a fast-moving storm now.
Southampton Parish, Bermuda. So, Mike, we just showed the forecast cone. Bermuda, yet again, close to the forecast cone, but not quite in it. The reality is Melissa could still be a hurricane as it makes that close pass to the island.
Yes, a weakening hurricane and also a fast-moving hurricane. Based on the 5 a.m. forecast track, it's going to be whipping by here from tomorrow afternoon through early Friday morning at 45.5 miles an hour. I mean, that's almost highway speeds in some cities, you know, the local surface streets. So it's going to be picking up speed with that jet stream. That's a good thing. And the trend over the past several days is the center stays farther and farther west of the island. So that's a good thing. No obvious preparations here. I've talked to the hotel owners here at the Pompano, and no plans right now. I guess they may take these beach chairs off the beach just in case. But at this point, there's some folks out on the beach today. We have a little bit of sun. Had some rain yesterday from that departing low, that non-tropical system going now out into the North Atlantic. And here is the tranquil, almost tranquil, aquamarine waters. Just take a look at this, huh? Little moment of zen here. And out in the distance, I don't know if you can see on camera, but with the naked eye, the water, it gets darker. That's where it drops off. That's the channel out there. But until you walk out there, even at high tide, it only gets up to about 6 to 6.5 feet. I've seen pictures, people are like a football field off the coast, and the water's only about here. So what a great location. And today's not bad at all. Tomorrow, the weather will start going downhill, certainly in the afternoon, and then through the evening and late tomorrow night. The worst of the weather will come right on through here, rushing by, as I mentioned, almost 50 miles an hour. And then by Friday morning at sunup, it's going to be long gone. In fact, there's a couples golf tournament here, big tournament. The hotel has a lot of players here, and they were asking me about playing golf Friday morning, and I said no issues. They're going to, take a look at the course, see if there's any issues, if it rains too much or if there's some palm fronds down. But I think they're going to be okay on Friday, whether they start at 8:30 or 11:30 with that shotgun start. So, Marissa and Stephen, right now, it looks like it's going to be another near miss, and I can't imagine it being any worse than Imelda was back in early October, where they had wind gusts at the airport 50 to 60 miles an hour. On the far end of the island, the elevated station at the museum, they gusted to 99. So there were some trees down, there were some power outages. It may not be as bad as that. It's going to be interesting to see. We know this steering flow is going to rapidly move it by here, but it will be interesting to see how much that shear tears apart as the system goes by here and becomes, subtropical, or becomes extratropical at that point late tomorrow night. How much oomph is left in what was this big monster yesterday in Jamaica?
It's so funny, Mike. I was just talking to Stephen about the close calls Bermuda has, and he brought up Imelda. But it was around Imelda that we had Umberto, and it was watching to see how those two would interact up until and through their time near Bermuda. But yeah, it was Imelda that brought the wind and the rain and yeah.
And Mike, Aaron even, for a brief time, there were questions on how close Aaron would get to Bermuda, because Aaron was the first Cat 5 that we saw of the season. But it is saying something with you asking the hotel if they're preparing for it, that they're not too worried about this one.
No, back in August with Aaron, and we were on the Outer Banks, and it threaded the needle between the Outer Banks and Bermuda. I believe the closest point with Bermuda was about 450 plus or minus miles, so it was well offshore. They had big waves, and from what I remember, they had a tropical storm warning. That was it, and they really had no issues at all. It was much like North Carolina. As far as rain, we had hardly any rainfall. We had 16-foot waves, and if you remember, many areas up and down the coast didn't have swimming for several days because of the rip currents and the wave action, and we did have that coastal flooding, that push of water from Aaron as it went by well offshore. So it goes to show you, once again, if you're not in the cone, that doesn't mean you don't get any impacts from a tropical system. That's not correct, as we've seen many, many times, especially as you get closer to landfall, the cone narrows, and you may be just outside the cone. With Aaron, the cone wasn't even touching the Outer Banks. And we had those 16-footers on shore, and then all the way up through Jersey, Long Island, New England, we had big waves, big surf, and the rip current. So just because you're not in the cone, don't just say, hey, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, no doubt. Parts of Jamaica weren't even in the cone for Melissa. And clearly, island-wide,
exactly,
there were impacts, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we appreciate that update. Yeah, I think we'll watch Bermuda as we head into Friday. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel there in Southampton Parish with a, gotta say, beautiful backdrop, beautiful water, beautiful scenery that you got there, Mike. Thank you. And, you know, our Atlantic Ocean out of the Caribbean. Let's go ahead and take it into Bermuda. We have Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel joining us out of Southampton Parish this morning. And, you know, Bermuda, it is known as one of the most hurricane resilient countries, islands in the basin. And when you talk about prepping, Mike, for Melissa, which could still be a hurricane, perhaps more like a Category 1 hurricane, but it'll be larger, right? It'll be getting stretched out as it gets closer to Bermuda.
Yeah, the winds are going to be stretched out, the tropical storm force winds. So, yes, we will get wind here, and we will get some rain and the wave action, certainly outside the reef areas. Right now, this morning, we got 2 to 3 footers in this little cove here. It reminds me of Gilligan's Island, although this is much nicer. I'm not telling any secrets, but that was a parking lot filled with water in Studio City, California. Anyway, back here, more seriously, the hurricane warning went up at 11 o'clock Eastern, and it is up through the duration. The timing right now is later tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. In fact, I did the recalculation of the speed of forward motion. Now, earlier today, it was 45.5 miles an hour. Now, between 8 p.m. tomorrow night and 8 a.m. Friday morning, the forward speed 42.5 miles an hour to be exact. So it is going to be racing right off here. We're on almost the far western side of the island here in Southampton Parish. We're about a 45-minute cab ride from Hamilton and the airport. So they're on the other side. In fact, this end got most of the wind, the higher wind gust with Imelda. It gusted out here up to 99 miles an hour at the museum. Now, granted, their wind measuring instrumentation is higher up and not at what we typically talk about wind measuring at 10 meters. So we've got the southwest wind now. It's not as windy right here, but let me show you where we're staying here at the Pompano. It's built on the cliffside. It's been out here for many, many years. It's seen many, many storms. And you can see any surge is not going to be an issue in most of these areas because of the way Bermuda is geographically. But you get a sense, when you go up to the pool level and up to the higher levels, there is more wind up there, gusting about 20 miles an hour. We're kind of protected down here in the cove. By the way, the water temperature is very nice today. Not the summer levels, but in the upper 70s, and I can trust that if you're not from Florida, this would be very, very enjoyable. So again, crunch time tomorrow afternoon as we get towards sundown around 6:30, and then through the early hours of Friday morning. By Friday morning itself at sunrise, this thing is going to be long gone. In fact, there's a big couples golf tournament. They're off today, but they have round 3 tomorrow and round 4 on Friday. And I believe they've pushed the shotgun start back from 8:30 to about 10 a.m. just to be on the safe side. But I can't imagine there's going to be much of an issue Friday morning, except some leftover wind from the northwest on the backside of Melissa.
Can't say what I'm more surprised by, the fact that we're still going to have golf in Bermuda, even with Melissa coming so close, or Mike, that Gilligan's Island was filmed on a parking lot full of water in Studio City, California.
I did.
Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, that was the lagoon. Yes, I was there back in the day after the series. After they stopped filming the series, there's still water there. In fact, there's still a little bit, but basically now what's there is a parking garage over there, and there's still the bungalows in Studio City, if you've ever been there. And behind one of those, I think there's a little bit of water. But yeah, in fact, some of the shots you weren't supposed to see some of the buildings, but there is a picture online where you can see the lines, the painted lines in the water. So it was only about this
parking
deep.
lot.
It looked great on TV, though, with the opening and close.
Full disclosure, that was my favorite show, one of my favorite shows growing up, and it was my first ringtone. Dun 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 dun. The skipper too. Hey,
Fascinating.
You know what? Bermuda has done this dance before,
Yeah.
and a weakening Melissa, still paying attention to being safe, but we know they've obviously had to buckle down for worse. So we appreciate that update from you, Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel in Southampton Parish. Thanks, Mike. All right.
Jamaica and Cuba on the way through the Bahamas right now. It's going to be edging the Bermuda. They've got brand new hurricane warnings are out there. Mike Seidel is out there, our storm specialist, meteorologist. I love talking to you in these storms. You're right there in Bermuda. The weather now looks pretty good, Mike, but we know the hurricane warning's just been issued.
Yes, and we're looking for the worst of the hurricane to hit here later tomorrow afternoon, primarily evening and late tomorrow night. And by Friday, this thing is going to be long gone. You mentioned it's moving 14 miles an hour forward speed. Well, based on the 11 o'clock forecast, between 8 p.m. tomorrow and 8 a.m. Friday, its forward speed, Bob, get this, 42.5 miles an hour. So it's going to triple its forward speed between now and late on Thursday. What that means is, as it goes by right off the coast here, we're on the western side of the island, about as far west as you can get, but not as far north. It's going to go off the coast here. We don't expect a direct hit at this point. We do expect certainly a brush by. We've seen that earlier this year with Imelda back in early October. They had wind gusts at the highest point on the far northwest tip of 99 miles an hour, but most areas didn't gust more than about 50 to 55 miles an hour. There were some power outages and some tree damage. I don't expect anything worse than that. We've got a lot of folks in here in town visiting the town, the island, the parishes, and one of them is Stephanie from Estelle Manor, New Jersey.
Well, hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, Atlantic County. So you're familiar with the water and the beaches?
Absolutely. Been through some hurricanes in our lifetime, so we were not looking forward to this, but the people here at the Pompano Resort assured us that we were going to get all our rounds in this week. So this is our off day. Tomorrow, like you said, I think we'll get off, and probably Friday as well.
Yes, they've been asking me about Friday. I think they're pushing back the shotgun start a bit to about 10 a.m.
Perfect.
But, yeah, it's going to be long gone, maybe a little bit of wind. You've played 2 rounds so far. How have you done so far?
Well, so far I don't think I'm scoring well, but the wind hasn't bothered us a bit. The weather's been perfect, been pretty breezy, but we've got our rounds in, and I did get closest to the pin.
And now on the 18th hole, did you get a free game? Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we never forget the old ones. So you're here for a whole week, and so you're getting some free time. I mean, in addition to playing golf.
Correct.
Well, great. Well, I'm glad you could join us, getting some beach time. You're going to go in the water like your husband did?
Yes, I am.
Okay, there he is over there filming us. How was the water, sir?
It was awesome.
Yeah, and from Jersey, the water temperature rarely gets this warm, upper 70s. So I saw you out there.
Yeah, I was a guard on the beach patrol back in the day.
What beach?
Longport.
Okay.
So that was exciting. The golf gods are with us though this week.
You play good golf?
Yeah, I'm playing pretty good golf.
What's your handicap?
I'm about a 12.
That's not too bad.
I know, it's respectable.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great time down here and wonderful people on the island everywhere you go.
Very nice here. Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
what was your name?
Mike.
Mike. Okay, Mike and Stephanie Holvik.
Correct.
Correct, Holvik.
Awesome.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, lug nut.
Lug nut. Now nobody would ever call you lug nut. Anyway, Bob Van Dillen, let me get my feet in the water here for the first time. Let me give you an observation here. Hold on here. Oh my, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
By the way, because of this cliff here and where we're sitting around the whole hotel, cell service is not great, as you can imagine, and my cell connection dropped. So Bob, I'm going to have to throw it back to you, and we'll talk again throughout the afternoon. We'll be back on at about another 45 minutes or so. So we see you from Bermuda, and again, the worst of the weather tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. It's out of here by Friday. Bob?
All right, Mike Seidel out there in Bermuda. Thank you very much, Mike. No, you can't hear me, but great job as always. All right, let's get to the forecast for Bermuda. Professional, he's been out there in these storms many times. I bet you can tell you right off the bat how many live shots he's done and how many he's done in hurricanes. Mike.
Well, I can tell you I've done I think this is 105 named storms, tropical storms and hurricanes in my career. So that is a lot. I mean, but as my basketball coach, who's still coaching in Maryland, Coach Waller, at 85 with the most wins in the state of Maryland now, 934, he says, Mike, if you coach long enough, you're going to have a lot of wins. So to bring it back here, if you go out long enough in the field, you're going to have a lot of tropical storms and hurricanes. So there you go. But yeah, it has been a great run. And this one here is going to be much like we think Imelda or less. Imelda brushed by here early October. Winds peaked out at the museum higher up at 99 miles an hour. That's a pretty good gust. But over at the airport, about 55 to 60. There were some power outages and some trees down. That was the worst of it. Now with Melissa, it's going to be really picking up steam. 14-mile-an-hour forward motion right now. And by tomorrow evening, I calculated the forward motion between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Friday morning. It'll be moving at 42.5 miles an hour. So that's triple the forward speed. So when it goes by, expected to go by off the coast out here, it is going to be racing like it's late for a date. So whatever impacts we have are going to be quick. And we think that's going to kick in tomorrow around sundown and then through early hours of Friday morning. And then by Friday morning when the sun comes up, it is hundreds of miles away from the island of Bermuda. I mean, they're certainly not at their first rodeo. They have a lot of close calls. Remember, it's a little speck in the middle of the Atlantic, so to get a direct hit is pretty tough, which is good. They also have a nice reef out there, which keeps the big waves from coming on shore. And beyond the reef tomorrow, we'll have probably 15 to 20 footers, but on shore they won't be as high. I have seen a general increase in the wave heights here since we got out here at about first light this morning here at the Parish, Southampton Parish. We're on the far western side of the island, about as far west as you can get. I came out here so we could get the exposure from the southwest as it moves in, and then Friday, if we are back Friday, if needed, the winds will be coming in from the northwest. So, Bob and Bain, it is not a bad beach day out here. Temperatures around 80, water temperature in the upper 70s, Bob. And I can tell you that the water hitting my ankles is very inviting, very inviting.
Yeah, it looks it. Yeah, I'm just looking at the watercolor as well. It's just, it's amazing. Here we are at the end of October, and Jersey Shore doesn't look like that anymore, I'll tell you that.
No, not at all. It looks gorgeous.
Does it ever look aquamarine? I mean, I'm down the coast, from the Maryland-Delaware coast, and I don't remember it ever looking aquamarine like it does in the tropics. But maybe you have a different view up there in Jersey.
Well, listen, it depends on what New York City was dumping in it at the time, what color it was back in the 80s when I was a kid.
If you squint your eyes, it kind of looks like it.
Exactly, you're right. Mike, thank you so much, because we know next time we see you, it's going to look like this, but then tomorrow, it's going to go down quickly, and it's going to buzz you off to the west. So, Mike Seidel, always great to talk to you, my friend. It's great.
And we will be here live tomorrow late afternoon, right on through midnight tomorrow night, to give you the absolute great visuals and the worst of what Melissa throws at us. By the way, if you notice that the wind speeds have been coming down faster than forecast over the past day or so, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's down to 100-mile-an-hour sustained winds, Cat 2.
Yep.
And they've been catching up, the Hurricane Center. So we'll see what's left of it by this time tomorrow. Again, it could, as you mentioned, could gain a little bit more strength as it now leaves the islands and gets out into the open waters of the Atlantic.
Yeah. Mike, there's nobody better to do play-by-play on the beach than you when it comes to the hurricane chase, and we appreciate it. Mike Seidel out there in Bermuda. Good stuff, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Right? So it's like they got a kick me sign on them like I've been saying all week. Let's go up there right now. We got a live shot. Mike Seidel is in Bermuda, where a hurricane warning was issued earlier this morning at the 11 o'clock advisory. Look at the pictures right here.
Gorgeous.
You wouldn't know it, right? Mike, how is it on the beach right now, my friend?
What do you think, Bob?
Nice.
I mean, come on.
Bermuda shorts, the whole thing.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Oh, by the way, the flight attendant last night on Bermuda Air, he had Bermuda shorts on. Classic Bermuda Air outfit. I loved it. Meanwhile, this is the Atlantic, and we are looking basically west, maybe a little south of west right here on this beach. Look at the size of the beach here. It's very small. The tide has been up. Now it's starting to back off. I want to talk about how high the water got with Imelda back in early October. It got up to the bar there. So we may see water up that way, but again, it doesn't have to get much higher because it came up to the concrete in the past hour or so. So we're going to have to deal with some water right here at the beach, but looking around the cliffs and the elevation, especially for a lot of these hotels and homes, surge is really, it's off the table. What is on the table will be the wind tomorrow evening and tomorrow night until early hours of Friday morning, because it is going to race on by here tomorrow night. Probably around midnight or so, the center goes right off the coast here, moving at right now forecast to be 42.5. I did the mathematics, 42, 43 miles an hour. Right now, it's moving at about a third of that speed. So fast moving, weaker system. Cat 1, is it going to be a Cat 2? I don't know, Bob. It's already down to 100 miles an hour. And as I mentioned earlier, the intensity forecasts have been lagging behind the weakening over the past day or so. We had the mountains in Jamaica. We had the mountains in Cuba. And so whether it can maintain a Cat 2 status, it's really immaterial. It's going to be moving so fast, and it's going to be a quick hitter. So that's how it stands here. Water temps in the upper 70s. The air temperature right now about 80. A bit of a breeze, especially off the beach, up higher. We're protected by this cove here. What a beautiful scene here. And so if you get up higher, the airport is gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. Southwest winds right now. As it goes by, we'll get on the backside, and then the winds will come back around to the northwest later tomorrow night after it goes by. It'll be by here probably about midnight or so, and then that is it. By Friday morning, I should say by Friday morning, it's over with, it's gone, the sun comes out. They got a big couples golf tournament. 68 couples, Bob, staying at the hotel here, the Pompano, and they're anxiously awaiting round 3 tomorrow, and they want to get round 4 in on Friday, and I think they will have no issue doing that Friday morning.
Yeah, that was my question is, what are the tourists thinking at this point? Are they like, listen, hold my umbrella, we've seen worse storms in the summertime than this?
Yeah, exactly. You know, Imelda did get the winds up around the corner at the museum. It's higher up, higher than the official wind level, about 10 meters, and they gusted to 99 miles an hour. They had a hurricane force wind gust.
Wow.
Airport gusted in the 50s to near 60. So we had some trees down, we had some power outages. No power went out here, and they, by the way, they have generators. And right now we're thinking it's going to be a brush by.
Yeah.
And it's going to be racing by 42, 43 miles an hour versus the speed over the weekend of, what was it, about 3 or 4 miles an hour before it made that turn and went into Jamaica.
Yeah, it's going to be a shave and a haircut for Bermuda, no question about it. Mike Seidel, thank you so much, and you'll be live there tomorrow throughout the entire event. I'm going to be out there on the East Coast with our East Coast storm, so Mike will both be on the beach, but
different beaches.
Different beaches. Mike Seidel out there in Bermuda.
It'll be nicer here. It'll be nicer here.
I don't think there's any question about that. Michael, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we do have more coming up. We got the northeast storm that's about to.
Seidel is in Bermuda, ready and waiting. And Mike, understandably so, I'm sure people on Bermuda hate to see a Fox Weather logo coming. It's been a familiar spot.
Remember, Haley Meyer was here back in early October for Imelda. Imelda was a brush by. They had winds gusting at the airport 55 to 60, but on the far west and north of the island at that museum, they gusted to 99. So we don't think it's going to be any worse than that later tomorrow and tomorrow night. It is going to be racing very fast. Right now at 15 miles an hour away from the Bahamas, or it's trying to get out of the Bahamas. But by tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow night and Friday morning, it's going to be moving northeast at 43 miles an hour. So about 3 times as fast, and that means the faster it moves, the quicker their impacts are in and out of here. Now, I looked at the latest European ensemble members, the 51 members, and I looked at the rainfall total. And here in Bermuda, it's giving us about 1/4 of an inch. That's it. But along and west of the center, it's printing out several inches of rainfall. So if that verifies and the track stays west, which we expect it will be, it's been trending west inch by inch all week, we're looking at not a whole lot of rainfall and a fast mover. So we're still going to get those wind gusts in excess of 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. It just remains to be seen what's left of the system, because it has been weakening faster than the intensity forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And thankfully, it went over the mountains of Jamaica and Cuba, and that helped it right along with all that friction. This is the Atlantic. As you can see, the sun setting as we head towards the end of the daylight period here in Bermuda, Southampton Parish. We're out on the far western part of the island, so we're about as far west as you can get in Bermuda, not as far north, though. And beyond this area here, it's hard to see from this level at the beach, but the harbor and the channel is farther out. In here, the water is not very deep. In fact, even at high tide, you can walk out many yards. It never gets more than about 6 to 6.5 feet deep. Water temperature in the upper 70s. Wave heights are about 2 feet here. But again, there's a reef system around Bermuda, and that really keeps the big waves at bay. And that's what's going to happen again tomorrow, because we're going to have that swell coming in from this direction, because that's basically off to the south and west. So the wind's going to pick up from this direction, and then once it goes by after midnight tomorrow night, the winds will haul around from the north and west and northwest, and that'll be the primary direction on Friday. This is going to be long gone by Friday morning. They got a big couples golf tournament here this weekend. 68 couples, third round tomorrow, fourth round Friday, and they'll get both rounds in. They may back up the shotgun start a bit on Friday from 8:30 to about 10 or 10:30. We'll see how that shakes out. But if they don't get much rain, then it's all about the wind, and the pressure gradient really drops off by Friday morning. So it'll be breezy. The sun will come out at times. Should be a pretty nice day. It's all about what happens here, say late afternoon tomorrow to early Friday morning, with the center going offshore sometime around midnight tomorrow night here on the beautiful island of Bermuda. And surge, not an issue really right here. You can see what we've got. This is the mainstay of the geography here on the coast. But I want to show you, Ian, that over here at the beach bar, the water did get up to the bar during Imelda back on the first couple of days of October. But it doesn't have to get very high. In fact, high tide a few hours ago, the water was lapping at the concrete there, the ramp. And you can see how high the structure is where the rooms are, the restaurants and everything else. Very, very high up. The wind up there is a little bit more frisky than it is down here at the beach right now.
Yeah, you speaking my language with the golf, I was lucky to play there back in January. Not sure I'm going to get invited back after what they've experienced through this season, but it is one more for the road, and folks need to prepare for it. Mike, we know you'll keep us updated. We'll be checking back. Thank you. Let's go. Seidel, he's live on Bermuda, ready and waiting for Melissa's arrival. Mike, we just got that new update in from the National Hurricane Center. This storm, it's cruising. It'll have a different shape when it arrives where you are, but there is going to be another period where it looks like a hurricane conditions can be expected.
Yeah, maybe here. We're going to get a brush by to the west. I don't think it's going to be any worse than Imelda, which was also a situation where they were under hurricane warning. It's not going to be the same track as Imelda. This is going to go to our west out in that area late tomorrow night, early Friday morning. This is going to be out of here by about 2 or 3 in the morning, well north and then then northeast of us by Friday morning at sunrise. So the weather's going to go downhill certainly tomorrow afternoon. Ian, I was looking at the latest European ensemble for rainfall totals, and this is the mean of the 51 members, and it's printing out here on Bermuda 1/4 inch. The heavy rain is well to the west to the center, and the center is going to stay west of us. That's pretty much etched in stone now. The forecasts have been trending a little bit west with each run, and so that puts us on the east side. So we'll have a pretty good southwest wind coming in here tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and then once the center goes by, say 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, then the winds will come back around on the backside from the west and southwest, and eventually from the northwest later on Friday. So Friday looks like a fine day. There will be impacts tomorrow, certainly at the airport. I know Bermuda Air was going to cancel some flights, and you've got American coming in here. Also, Delta flies in here. So do check with your air carrier if you're trying to get in and out of here, say tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, Friday. Everything should ramp right back up. There's the ocean, and the skies look threatening, but nothing nearby as the sun gets ready to set here in Bermuda. And the water temperature in the upper 70s. Today we got up to about 80 degrees. Now I want to talk about what happened with Imelda. Now today at high tide, the water got all the way up to the concrete here. All the way up here to the concrete. And then with Imelda, it got up to the beach bar. By the way, beach bar closes today for the season. They'll reopen back in March and April, but it got up here. So that's a couple of feet up. But look what's up behind me. The whole building, the whole hotel, the dining area, the pool and all that, it's well elevated, so surge is really not much of an issue. We've kind of taken rainfall off the table for now. So we'll see, Ian, how much wind we actually get with Melissa later tomorrow and tomorrow night and early Friday morning as it blows by, steaming northeast at 42 miles an hour between tomorrow afternoon and Friday morning. That's the latest speed forecast when you do the mathematics from the Hurricane Center at 5 p.m.
Yeah, Mike, just out of the principle of things, you'll have to grab a beverage before they shut it down for the season. But does Mike Seidel even pull out his Fox weather jacket, the rain jacket, for a 1/4 inch of rain? And what are people there saying? I know this is more of an annoyance. They know what to do, but another quick hit right here toward the end of the season.
Well, there's certainly hoping that it's another brush by. There's 68 couples here at the hotel playing golf. Round 3 tomorrow, round 4 is Friday. They were asking me, what do you think? Are we going to get rained out? I said, no, I don't see how you're going to get rained out because Friday it's gone, and tomorrow they're going to start, I believe it's a shotgun start about 8 or 8:30 in the morning, so they're going to be fine. And, the locals have gotten used to this. Aaron just produced some waves. Imelda had the wind, the waves, and some power outages, and a fence blew down over at the International Airport in Hamilton. So right now we're looking pretty good. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be in and out of here in about 6 hours' time, 5-6 hours, the window of the wind and the wave. Well, the waves will stay up into Friday, obviously, the swell, and wait to see how much rain we get. Yeah, 1/4 inch, I don't know. That's one thing I can tell you about this hurricane season. I have worn the raincoat very, very little. I wore it a couple times for Tropical Storm Chantal, which landfalled near Myrtle Beach on July 5th. I wore it once for over 5 days at Cape Hatteras for Aaron. And Imelda, I may have had it on a couple of times, once. So a lot of waves, maybe wind, but little if any rain at my locations this hurricane season so far.
Yeah, and still probably a 1 to 2 club breeze for those couples golfing on Friday, at least for that Friday round, but an active evening.
At least in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, the first part of the overnight hours. Mike, we know you'll keep us posted as things play out there on Bermuda. We'll be checking back. Thank you. Yeah, to Mike's point.